Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, Be Free Now with Maria. So today I'm going to start out with this deck, the Four Agreements. I shuffled it and I'm going to choose the card on top. All right, let's see. What do we have? Ooh, enjoy heaven on earth. Love that advice. Let's see. It says, impeccability of the word can lead you to personal freedom, success, and abundance. You can attain the kingdom of heaven from this one agreement. Be impeccable with your word. Okay, so that's beautiful. Enjoying heaven on earth. So how do we enjoy heaven on earth, right? We have to create it for ourselves. And what's the recommendation, right? To be impeccable with our word. And a good way to start being impeccable with our word, right, is to make decisions for ourselves and commit to them. Not just make them halfway. At least not for too long, like we can always start wherever where we feel capable of starting. But we want to cultivate the practice of making decisions that are things that we commit to, for ourselves. In other words, if we make the decision to do something, to take small steps to create that for ourselves, that's one way. I mean, there are many ways that we can be impeccable with our word. But when we approach it from, let's say the example of making a decision for ourselves and taking steps from that point, we are able to open up more, things for ourselves in our lives, right? We're able to open up more, we're able to create more because we're making a decision and we're taking steps towards that decision. And there's a lot of power in a decision because it guides us, right? So whatever the decision is that we make, it is guiding us towards what we want. And so we want to honor that. And every step that we take ultimately makes, this bigger outcome for us. In other words, we can say, well, I just made a phone call today, or I made a few phone calls, or I, sent out a few emails, or whatever it was. But those things that seem small will eventually grow and expand and take us, exactly to where we want to go. But it starts with a decision. There's a lot of power in it because ultimately when we set it, right, we open up a pathway for ourselves, and that's what we want to do. And it's up to us which pathway we want to open up, but we want to open one up, right? We want to intentionally do it so that we can take intentional steps towards what it is that we want to do, or we're going to stay in the same place where we're not feeling our best or feeling the happiest with, right? We're not feeling the most fulfilled with it, whatever it is. But if we're not feeling really good about it, then we want to change it. And that's one good way to do it because you're starting off with a decision and you're taking steps in that direction. Now, before I go any further, I also want to pick a word from my bag of words. Oh, and then I also want to pick a card from the Untethered Soul. I shuffled that deck as well. All right, but let's start with the word. Ooh, embarrassed. I love that. The word is embarrassed. Now, not that I love to feel embarrassed, but whenever we do feel embarrassed, it challenges us, right? We have these yucky feelings inside. We don't feel good. And generally, right, we're thinking negative about ourselves, or we're not being forgiving of our humanness, and whatever the situation is, right, we feel this emotion, and usually we want to hide away. We want to shy away. And when we do that, right, we kind of pull ourselves out of the game of life as opposed towards the game of life. So we want to, right, acknowledge that emotion, learn what we can from it, right, so that we can shift out of it. But we don't want to ignore it because it's there. And the thoughts that we're having, are taking over. So we want to acknowledge them in whichever way feels comfortable for us. We can just notice it, right? We can just breathe, pay attention to our breath, and notice that we're having these, negative thoughts, right, that are stemming from this incident where we're feeling embarrassed from. And we can watch it just kind of, go by, or, right, we can learn from it and we can really start to explore what about the incident, right, is embarrassing us the most, and, go from there in whichever direction we feel inspired to go, or we're allowing ourselves to go in. But that journaling, opportunity gives us, awareness And we can use that, right, to create a shift, and also gives us the opportunity to take a moment to be gentle with ourselves, which means, right, that we can easily, close our eyes, put our hands over our heart, and say something kind and gentle to ourselves, or remember that we're not walking alone, whichever one feels natural and comfortable or comforting, we can say, or anything else. But the point is, right, to support ourselves, not just leave ourselves, feeling this emotion and not addressing it. So now I want to move on to my last card, which is from this deck, the Untethered Soul, which always has something spiritual and beautiful to remind us of. And this card, the back is, this deck is actually broken, I think, in 3 sections, but this one is the Freeing Yourself. Section, I'm going to say, for lack of a better description. And the card says, the more you sit in the self, the more you will begin to feel an energy that you have never experienced before. It comes up from behind rather than in front, where you experience your mind and emotions. Ooh, I love that. It's so true that it does come from behind. It feels like this support, when we sit with ourselves and we begin to feel the energy, right? We open ourselves up to something bigger and more expansive than just our physical experience. In other words, we're allowing this unseen divine energy, right, to be a part of our existence. And when we do that, we are also expanding ourselves, but we're also walking with more clarity in the direction that we're going in, because it reminds us, right, that there's more going on than what we can see, and it allows us to be more receptive, open and receptive, to be more gentle with ourselves, to be more tolerant of the human experience, and it also allows us to feel more supported along the journey, so that we don't feel so isolated or like we're walking alone here, right? It reminds us that, right, God lives and breathes through us. We're not alone, and that we are supported internally, and it allows us to also see how externally we are supported as well. So it opens up doors for us, right? Opportunities. And when I say doors, right, the doors to see the opportunities and the vastness that we are and that surrounds us. It allows us to grow, right, into a broader perspective. So that's always helpful to remember, as well as we're walking towards something, right? And making decisions, processing embarrassment, and trying to grow into more than we're experiencing in the moment, that isn't necessarily feeling like it's something that we fully want to just, keep going, as opposed to growing and expanding, and not just growing or going in a stagnated way, towards, the next step in life, right? We're going to walk towards it more conscious, more aware, and more, I was thinking willing, it's like more willing to challenge ourselves, to get out of our comfort zone and to try something new, so that we can expand in a way that feels more natural and aligned with what we really want for ourselves. All right, so I'm going to end with that. I hope that this video has helped you in some way. If it did, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so that you can be notified when I upload further videos. And if you want to find out more about the work that I'm doing, you can visit my website at www.bfreenow.llc.com. Anyway, all the information is down in the description below. All right, have a beautiful day. Bye for now.